Awesome. So first of all, I would like to share a bit of background on your story. You started early your career in sales, then you started your own boutique for finance. You did the MBA at Wharton, probably one of the most successful MBA programs out there in the world. After that, worked at private equity, and now we see you leading finance, the finance department at Harvard. I don't know, Luis, if you could share some context about how this process has been. How did you start in sales and move to finance?
Yeah, of course. It's a non-traditional path. I don't think I've met anyone else who's ever done that before, but I'm thankful that I had the chance to do that because I feel like I got pretty much two opposites in terms of experience in business. I started out in sales really because I was an immigrant to the US like you, Alex. I'm originally from Honduras. And I thought that in sales, I would have the best opportunity to cut my teeth, to understand pretty much how business is done in this country, in the US, and be in the front lines. So sure enough, that was accomplished. It was very much trial by fire, as they say. But I enjoyed it. It was a good experience in which I was able to really understand, the power of go-to-market and sales and what really propels a company to grow. In my sales career, I started out very much in entry level, very traditional sales roles. But as time evolved, I think I was in sales about 5 years. But at the end of that stretch, I was able to get into a more strategic role in sales, which is what I really enjoyed. And I was working here in Austin for a high growth startup, lead generator. I think within the first 3 years after launching that company, they hit 100 million in revenue. So really, really fast growth. But I was given a revenue channel to manage. And what I really liked about this company was they were very data driven. And this was in a time where not everybody was doing that in the tech world. And so I started to play with our databases and taught myself to write SQL queries and work with Excel. And essentially, I started to create models because I wanted to optimize my book of business and how to best grow it. And eventually, I pretty much created some pricing strategies and worked with the product team and the BI teams to develop, some better product strategy. And all of that was very rewarding and achieved really positive results. But that was really why I decided to change, because I got a taste of the power of working with data and numbers. And so I decided I wanted to pivot my career. And I didn't know how to do that except by starting my own company, right? So I started an advisory company in which I first was helping some previous clients of mine manage their lead generation campaigns, and also I would say really more on the operations and strategy side, how to optimize go-to-market for growth. And inevitably, as I worked with these clients, most of them, small companies, right?
Yeah.
We kept running into the issue of raising capital or potentially selling, right? And so that's where my clients kept coming to me for help and asking me to help them understand what to do, make decisions, and even to deal with potential investors. And so I kind of self-educated in all things private equity and venture capital. as well as just corporate finance. Um, that was really an interesting phase in which I was able to help several companies either raise a round or to sell the company altogether. And this was really, I would say, the inflection point within running my own company where I decided, okay, I want to really get into finance, right? And so um, outside of the work I was doing, really you could call it pseudo an investment banker, right? I was a middleman in which I was not only working with startups. Now I was also working with private equity firms and helping them not only source investments but also vet them and even create models. Obviously, I was working with less sophisticated private equity groups, family offices, and that kind of operation. And so around this time is when I decided to go to business school. I was fortunate to get into Wharton, which at least at the time was ranked number one. So of course I had to accept. Uh, it was a great experience. I learned a ton, and then I was like, okay, I'm ready, right? I'm ready to really get into finance. I got a private equity role coming out of business school, which was really interesting. Uh, really being on the other side, right, from the investor perspective, which is really completely different. Uh, but to be honest, I kind of missed being on the side of the company, on the operating side. And so after that private equity stint, I decided to take a role with uh, a SaaS business. They brought me in really to help drive their M&A strategy, their corporate development strategy. Uh, that's my current company, by the way. That's Harvard. And then eventually that role transitioned into also absorbing the FP&A group and growing that group as well. So wearing a lot of different hats. And here I am today.